Hi, welcome to San Francisco Liberal Buzz. I'm your host, Denise Dory, and I'm very lucky to have with me my guests from San Francisco Community Land Trust, CDFI, which is the clearinghouse. CDFI is a member of Federal Home Loan Bank, FHL Bank, and they have been for 2 years, and they're the first non-depository community development financial institution from an FHL bank, Federal Home Loan, that is. And non-depository means you don't deposit your money in them. Right. And their mission is to provide economic opportunities and improve the quality of life to low-income communities through financing otherwise unavailable CDI-5 unavailable loans and sources of grant money. So CDFI have provided $925 million in loans, and stop me if I ever make an error. 725,000 people a year, and they create and retain 9,000 jobs, and they rehabilitated 8.6 million square feet of property and land. So that's great. Hi, welcome to San Francisco Liberal Buzz. I'm your host, Denise Dory, and I'm very lucky to have with me my guests from San Francisco Community Land Trust. I'm going to find them. And we're here to talk about the CDFI, which is the clearinghouse. CDFI is a member of Federal Home Loan Bank, FHL Bank, and they have been for 2 years, and they're the first non-depository community development financial institution from an FHL bank, Federal Home Loan, that is. And non-depository means you don't deposit your money in them. Right. And their mission is to provide economic opportunities and improve the quality of life to low-income communities through financing otherwise unavailable CDI-5 unavailable loans and sources of grant money. So CDFI have provided $925 million in loans, and stop me if I ever make an error. 725,000 people a year, and they create and retain 9,000 jobs, and they rehabilitated 8.6 million square feet of property and land. So that's great. And let's see. So we're going to roll some. You want to roll the footage now?
Sure.
Purchase a 5-unit rental building before its units lost their affordability on the private market. Through private market forces, we all know that right now, affordable housing in San Francisco is hard to come by. We're at an all-time high in rents, an all-time low in vacancies, and market forces are bringing more new great jobs to San Francisco, but we simply don't have the housing stock to meet the demand. So right now we have really high rents. The average rent is around $2,700 a month. That's only affordable to a household earning more than $100,000. That's fewer than 40% of San Franciscans. So our city really needs strong public policy and a new model for preserving and producing affordable housing. And so everyone today who's joined us to speak has been part of this long, multi-year struggle to come up with good public policy and this new innovative model that the community in South of Market was recently able to demonstrate as a potentially new successful model for acquiring buildings from the private market before they get sold and either lose their units to the private market when long-time tenants can go up to market rate, and right now, like I said, it's highly unaffordable. We also, the rent board is reporting an increase in Ellis Act evictions, 68% increase in 2012 over 2011. We've lost more than 120 units due to Ellis Act evictions, so at that rate we're losing more affordable units than we can build new. So we need a new model. So what we did in the south of Market, the SOMA Stabilization Fund, which was another community victory that happened back in 2005 and 6, where we have a dedicated source of funds to really help stabilize the existing fabric of the neighborhood, the longtime residents and their social and economic businesses and family life. And this fund funded a collaboration of the Land Trust and the South of Market Community Action Network and the Asian Neighborhood Design nonprofit and also the Filipino American Development Foundation. And together we identified a property that came on the market, and we competed against 5 private buyers, 5 other offers, but the owner recognized the value in the community wanting to preserve these families and these units in the south of Market. So he said, okay, I'll work with you as long as you can close escrow in 60 days. Now that's unprecedented in the nonprofit affordable housing industry, but we did it, and we did it with the help of Clearinghouse Community Development Financial Institution, who are here today, and a generous private investor who allowed us to compete on the private market, preserve that building, and now we're going to reinvest with rehabilitation to make sure that these homes remain high quality and affordable for the long term for future generations. And that's what the Land Trust does. All of the residents and our community members have voting power in the Land Trust, and that guarantees that these community assets are preserved over the long term. So thank you all, and I want to just pass it on to our next speaker, Supervisor James Kim.
So Tracy really covered the issue really well, but we're really excited to work with the community on this very issue. Tracy had mentioned that we need new models, and I think we actually have a lot of great models already in the city of San Francisco on the preservation and production of affordable housing, but we need more, particularly in the environment that we have today. And the small site acquisition model is one way to do that. So we need to both build more affordable housing, but also preserve and protect what is currently existing housing for working class and middle class communities, and those are buildings that are currently under rent control. But as Tracy mentioned, as tenants move out, we lose the affordability of those units as they get new tenants and they come up to market rate. So one of the answers is, of course, controlling the ownership of our properties here in San Francisco and making sure that we have good, conscientious property owners that care about families and working class people staying here in the city of San Francisco. So we're really excited to partner with the groups here today. We don't want to take credit for this work. This really happened through the Community Land Trust, FADC, AND, and SOMCAN, but we're excited to be a part of the conversation of pushing the Mayor's Office of Housing and the city to acknowledge that small site acquisition was an important part of increasing the affordable housing pipeline here in the city. So I just want to thank and acknowledge all the community groups here. This is really a small success, but these small successes add up in the south of Market, and for these 5 units, for these families that live in those 5 units, this is a huge success for them and those that will come and live here after them. Thank you.
That was Jane Kim, and I'd really like to thank her for her leadership on these housing issues lately. She stood up to Scott Wiener on the Land Use Board as well, Land Use Committee, because actually a lot of the properties being bought up by investors, not really family, big blocks of properties being bought at the lowest prices possible, and it's like vulture capitalism, sort of. It's kind of not very nice. So, and particularly it was pertinent, her Land Committee Use Committee comments warning of financial sector buying blocks of property for investment. She warned about that. So anyway, I wanted to have you talk about that some more, if you can, or what. Actually, I have a few questions about that, unless you have anything to add to that.
No, I would just say thank you, Denise. That's really good footage from the video you just showed was from a community-hosted press conference last week, March 6th, hosted by all of our partners to celebrate the small victory of actually being able to compete on the private market to buy a 5-unit apartment building before it lost its affordability to private market forces. And so our partners, as you mentioned, were Supervisor Jane Kim's office and the Clearinghouse Community Development Financial Institution. They provided the financing for this acquisition, very challenging. And also a number of our nonprofit partners in the South of Market. And we've all been working together towards this kind of a possible acquisition, which is a new model to buy an existing building with existing low-income residents in the building competing on the private market against private investors. And we did it. And so we did it only because of our support from the SOMA Stabilization Fund and SOMCAN, the South of Market Community Action Network, and the Filipino American Development Foundation, Asian Neighborhood Design, Housing Rights Committee, and also some of our local foundations. The San Francisco Foundation, Levi Foundation also supported this work.
That's impressive. It's a relief to know that. Yeah, I've been depressed about this property, this land, this housing boom. You know, these skyscrapers going up with just the growth has been too fast. Just too fast. It's disheartening. And it's good to see that there's a lot of people in on this. You know, I'm glad. It's very heartening. I'm sure the viewers think so too, because a lot of my viewers and my friends on Facebook are sad because we feel like we're about to be pushed out. And by 2014, I mean 68% evictions.
Yeah.
You know, evictions are up 68%. The Ellis Act. So yeah, there's at City Hall there's going to be. On the 25th, there's going to be senior people are going to talk to the Board of Supervisors about seniors being pushed out of their housing. So it's good. And I'm going to share that on a future show, what happens there, because I'm going to go there with my camera.
Great.
And so also I have this PDF file, and I don't know if I probably should. You actually summarized it a lot better than I could have shown it to the audience, because you summarized all the organizations that have come together on this. So I'm really happy about it. When I was at the rally, I spoke to a few people, and it sounds like it's going to be the future of property ownership, and it might spread up to other places. There's other places doing this. It's not just, it's in California, Nevada, what states?
The land trust model or the Clearinghouse CDFI model?
Well, they joined the federal land...
The Federal Home Loan Bank.
Yeah.
Right. This is definitely a partnership strategy. No one could do this sort of on their own.
It's like the Occupy movement.
Definitely need, the people, the resources, the money, and the owners of existing property to be willing to cooperate with the community and not just go with the highest offer possible.
Yeah, they have to really love the community to do that, and that's key. I mean, I produce this show because I love the community, and everybody who produces these shows, we don't get paid and we love the community. There's so much in the people that work in the office at this station, at BAVAC, they don't get paid much, but they love to do this, so I think it's a trend that's growing. Having money isn't all it's cracked up to be, really. I'd rather have friends than money. Sometimes you can't always have both, And so, how many buildings have you saved in San Francisco?
So the San Francisco Community Land Trust, this was our third acquisition only. We were incorporated in 2003. That was 10 years ago. But as you know, real estate is quite challenging in San Francisco. So it has taken us this long just to achieve our third acquisition, because it does take just a number of variables to come together. The stars have to align just right to be able to buy privately owned rental property from the private market to preserve its affordability in perpetuity, which is the mission of the land trust model. And for years, the city and people in the city thought the land trust model would not work in San Francisco, exactly because of what you said. The
the rapid rate of real estate development and the private market and just the simple expensive cost of real estate in San Francisco. We're essentially like an island. We're a peninsula. There's hardly any more room to build. We have much higher demand than we have supply. So even if we continue building housing, it simply won't meet the needs for everyone.
I think that they should think about branching out to Oakland and the rest of the Bay Area. Too many people are trying to live here, and it's not.
Yeah.
There's earthquakes.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So Valerie Zikas, who's our stewardship coordinator, works with a consortium. There are 4 of us land trusts in the Bay Area, and she's working with all 4 of us, so maybe she can share a little bit about how the model looks outside of San Francisco as well.
Yeah, it's very different depending on where you are. Like, whereas here we do rentals and limited equity co-ops and zero equity co-ops. If you go over to Sonoma County, who we also is a consortium member, they do mainly single-family homes. Or if you look at Oakland or Berkeley, they're doing a lot of condo buildings and also doing rentals. So it's different on where you are depending on the needs of the area and the needs of the residents in the area.
Sure, some places have houses as cheap as a VCR. That'd be great. It's location. I guess it is.
Exactly.
And so how does a homeowner initiate the process? Can it be initiated by a homeowner who's maybe underwater on their mortgage, or?
That's one way. So here in San Francisco, we have responded to renters in buildings that were at risk. For example, our first property, which is 21 rental units in Chinatown, the property was sold and at risk of actually being demolished. So the residents got together and asked for community help, and with a broad coalition of community organizations, the Land Trust was asked to buy the building and then rehabilitate it and convert it into a housing co-op, which is a form of ownership in which all the residents become owners in the nonprofit cooperative, so that the corporation actually owns the building, but all the residents own a share in that nonprofit corporation, which makes it a lot more affordable. And then it's shared with the land trust. So we own the land, the title to the land below the building, and we sign over ownership to the housing co-op of the residents through a 99-year lease, which is essentially a guarantee of 99-year lease, right? You can't break that lease. So in that way, it is a sort of a unique form of home ownership, not the traditional sense that a first-time home buyer might think of when you think of getting a mortgage and buying a single-family home or a condominium. But it is a way to stabilize your housing payments and to earn a little bit of a limited equity appreciation every year, maybe 3 to 6% appreciation of your co-op share. It's very affordable to move in, and you can also then participate in your co-op making decisions. You can decide how you want to decorate your own unit, or put wood floors in your unit, or paint the building. You know, you have more self-determination than you would as traditional rental, but it's much more affordable because you're one of 21 partners in the corporation instead of putting all that financial responsibility on yourself.
That's fantastic. And you can live upstairs from the worker-owned co-op downstairs.
Exactly.
Great, that's the future. I hope.
Definitely.
It's got to be. And it has nothing to do with Jamie Dimon either. So I'm glad that you've saved 3 buildings in the city, and but you're well on your way. I can see that. And do you have any opposition or obstacles to this? Do you have anybody that wishes you wouldn't do this, or have you experienced anyone, I don't know, opening your mail, or you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I guess we haven't gotten to that point yet where we have really strong opposition. But I'll tell you, the biggest opposition we have is that the conventional thinking around affordable housing is that it has to achieve economies of scale. The bigger the better. It has to be, 100 units or larger. And our model is to really focus on smaller buildings. The majority of buildings and rental buildings in San Francisco have that 100-year-old character of old San Francisco, and they're smaller units. They're fewer than 20 units in a building. So the residents that we're working with live in these smaller buildings that other nonprofit affordable housers may not find economies of scale, and other lenders, unlike Clearinghouse CDFI, would also not see the economies of scale, whereas Clearinghouse CDFI and the Land Trust and our supporters, we see more than just the economic value. We see the socio-economic value of keeping residents in the neighborhoods in which they were born and raised and contribute. So as people age in place, and seniors who are aging in the different neighborhoods across the city, they don't have to move to new development, affordable housing outside the city, or, you know, into a different neighborhood. You can actually stay in the neighborhood in which you've been living and contributing, and
Right.
that's the added value.
So what kind of outreach do you have? I mean, there might be people that really need to know about this. Can they find, they're not going to find out through their loan company or their
Oh, right.
mortgage company, so how would they find out about it?
We're very grassroots, so we do a lot of presentations, a lot of word of mouth. We are a membership organization. We welcome, anyone can become a member for just $24 a year, and for that membership you have a vote in the organization, and that's what makes us a community land trust.
And you're on Facebook, so if people want to go to you and like your page and find out more about you, they have to be on Facebook, and they just go to San Francisco Community Land Trust.
Yes,
the
Facebook
page,
and
like,
our website.
That's
Yes.
it, and that leads to the PDF that tells about you, what you're about. And I read somewhere it said that, let's see, do we have time? No, we probably don't have time for that question. So that's pretty much all the questions I had written down. And do you have any more that you want to add to that?
I think we could talk about some of the good things of why this model is so good, especially in San Francisco. There's a couple things. It helps to keep renters from being displaced from the neighborhoods they're in. It's an affordable way of home ownership, where people can gain equity and appreciation in their properties. It's also, these units are permanently affordable through the land lease structure, which means that, you know, with some home ownership, it can be affordable when you first buy it, and then it's not affordable for the next sale. But the way that the land lease structure is set up is that it stays affordable in perpetuity, which is so great in a city that's so expensive.
Oh, for sure. San Francisco, I mean, some of those houses were built for like $2,000, those big gingerbread houses, and they built two of them because they got two for the price of one. And so you'll see two that look alike because they have the same architect designed both of them, and then they'd split one with a neighbor, and then they'd end up paying half for their house. Half, you know, and when you see two of those quaint houses together, that's why that happens sometimes. And sometimes those houses have been split into several units too. I lived in a two-story walk-up. It was great. It was a prohibition. It had a bunch of little secret rooms.
Yes, that's the beauty of San Francisco, I know.
It really is.
Beautiful architecture and a lot of history.
We have the largest stock of old architecture in the country.
Is that right?
Boston and San Francisco has the largest stock of architecture from the 1800s. So, and even with the earthquake, and they dynamited the city and all that.
Yeah. So preservation is just so important, and we find that it's more cost-effective and more green than building new construction. So preservation of existing housing is what we want.
Yeah, I really would rather walk down the street and not just see it's just like a shock to me to walk down the street. I try to not to walk by where the cranes are. I try to walk by I plan my route where the old buildings are, and I try to walk past the ones that are still there that I remember from, I don't know, the 60s and the 50s since I've been here. And or otherwise I get lost, you know, because there's no landmarks. I feel like, where am I, you know? And I know it sounds strange, but
But you definitely see that in South of Market, which is one of the reasons why we targeted our efforts to work South of Market, because that's one of the neighborhoods that's experiencing the most and the fastest rapid private development in the city. So it's even more important to help stabilize the community by preserving some of the existing housing before we lose their affordability to the private market.
Oh, and an apartment now is what, $2,700 for an average apartment?
The average apartment is $2,700, and for that to be affordable, a household would have to be earning more than $100,000 a year. But only fewer than 40% of San Franciscans earn that much, and so that means that the average apartment is only affordable to less than 40% of our city population.
And to think I moved here in '82 when I was old enough to leave my parents' house and everything, and I paid $350 for a one-bedroom apartment in South of Market.
Yeah,
So
those days are gone.
those days are gone. I don't know what
Yeah.
that apartment is now, but geez. So, well, we're running out of time. So remember, go to Facebook. Are you on Twitter as well?
We're not on Twitter.
Okay,
Yes.
just go to Facebook, San Francisco Community Land Trust, and find out how you can possibly add to save affordable housing. Just find out what they're about and see if you can get involved somehow, because I'm really excited about this, and I'm really glad that you're doing. Thank you very much for your
Yeah,
work.
thank you, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you. And so remember to watch the Axis of Love show tomorrow night. It's tomorrow at 10 p.m. on Channel 29. The show is going to be about the counterintelligence program, which is, being spying on activists and Muslims. So that's the next show. And so I just turned it in today, so it'll be on Channel 29 tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And thank you for watching.